All right. So if it appears that I'm aging at warp speed, I am. I am. I last night I went to bed. I didn't do the whole, oh, I'm gonna stay, because I knew there was going to be chaos. Everybody knew that there was, except those in the media, remember, who said Biden's going to win, right? 95% chance that Joe Biden is going to win. Joe Biden has a huge lead over Donald Trump. That wasn't the case. Even if Biden ends up stealing the election, he never had this in the bag. The polls were wrong again. I think he might win Wisconsin, but they had him up by 17 points. He's going to win it by like a fraction of a point. And who knows? Those are ballots probably being. Look, I want to think that we have a secure system. Here in Florida, we have a great election system. I used to live in Massachusetts. That system was not nearly as good as what Florida has in place. Florida has a great election system. And they have a governor who, whether you like him or not, he's not going to put up with shenanigans. He's not going to put up with ballots. See, why is it that if you're a Democrat, you're okay with just ballots showing up randomly? Seriously, that you don't care about photo ID, you don't care about signature matches, you don't, seriously, this has nothing to do with your policy positions. You don't care about it. The general theme is you don't care about law and order, and the ends justify the means. I mean, the ends don't justify the means. People died in this country. They fought, bled, and died for the country. So you could have the right to vote. And if your vote is corrupt, then what was all that blood being spilled for? What were all those lives for? You hear, oh, democracy, democracy. I hate that word now because it doesn't mean what it's supposed to mean. What about a constitutional republic, if you can keep it? Nobody even knows what that means anymore. What's that? Why do we have the Electoral College? Because I don't want Oakland, California deciding the fate of people in Missouri or in Michigan or in Tennessee or anywhere. It's not mob rules. It's not, hey, the popular vote. Hey, the popular vote. Okay, so if you look at a map, right, in every election, and this one is no different, the state of Pennsylvania right now, right? Blue dot over Pittsburgh, blue dot over Philadelphia, maybe one other blue dot somewhere. I don't think it's Scranton, by the way. But the rest of the state is completely red. See, if you live in a geographically red area, you're not going to think like the people in the blue area. The blue area shouldn't be deciding what the red area gets. See, that's not representative democracy. That's mob rules. And I don't know, even when I think it was Mitt Romney ran for president, you could go red from coast to coast. You could find counties that were connected by red and go from one coast to the other coast. Couldn't do that with the blue stuff. The blue stuff it was all in these. Think about this, okay? All of these blue spots are like putrid, pus-filled nodules, because these are the places where there's crime. There's incredible amounts of homelessness. There's garbage on the streets. These are the places where all the riots take place. And you're going to let those areas, again, don't listen to me when it comes to ideology. This has nothing to do with ideology. This has to do with corruption. If you can't run a city, do we want your ideology and your philosophy to spread throughout the country via mob rules, via um, the the most votes win. Okay. Yes, I get it. It sounds on paper, it sounds, yes, if you have the most votes, you should win. All right. But again, we have a representative government. We have a constitutional, on paper, we have a constitutional republic. And if we don't have a constitutional republic, then we have bureaucrats, we have technocrats, we have globalists, we have foreign countries, we have corporations, we have media moguls running the country and not the people. You know, Tulsi Gabbard lays this out, by the way, and it freaks people on the progressive left out because she talks about we the people. She talks about things like patriotism, love of country, kindness, cooperation, service above self. I'm sorry, folks. You know, Biden, you know, if I'm a betting man right now, it's 50-50. It's a straight up 50-50. And you could see this coming. I watched a lot of alternative media. They war gamed this out. They turned off the spigot of counting. They said, oh, no more counting. And Trump goes out there and he says, hey, things look really good. There's not enough votes left. Oh, contraire, President Trump. And by the way, I'm being facetious here. They'll find votes. We live worse than a banana republic, because a banana republic would involve like a friendly bribe. You know, this is systemic corruption that essentially says we don't care about you, your one vote. We don't care about the will of the American voter. See, this isn't about Trump being a superior person via character, although you can make an argument that he is. This isn't about Trump's policies being a panacea, because they're not, but it's either the guy who wants to return us to all of the corruption that he's been a part of for almost a half a century. Now, he's not actually pulling the strings, so I have to be careful. They just want his brand. They want his brand up there. This is branding. We've got Biden. You know, he's the working class Joe. And we just put that out there, whether people understand it or not. And then, you know, it's not really true, because all of these politicians become rich beyond their wildest dreams and beyond our wildest nightmares. You know, Bernie Sanders is a rich guy. Sorry, he is. Yeah, I know, he wrote a book. Progressives, they all just think, oh, he wrote a book. Great. Tulsi Gabbard should be a multimillionaire then, just based on her smarts. Give her the money so she can build an organization with it, because she would actually give back to people, because that was her mantra, and I believe it. It's been her life. It's been since she was a kid. Go clean up the beach. You don't like something, you fix it. You do something about it. I am livid today. I'm livid because the country that I love is balkanizing. It's balkanizing at a rapid pace. And the people in media who are carving this up, who are, and by the way, not just media, but every level of communication that we have now has been corrupted by these pop-up ads and these influencing postings and these little disclaimers. Do you know that the RT channel is Russian-sponsored television? Did you know that? Thanks for the disclaimer. You're trying to do a psyop on me saying, you know, you're watching this and you know it's just Russian propaganda, right? You know, I will take in the year 2020, I will take Russian propaganda over deep state bureaucrat propaganda or Democratic Party machine propaganda, and to some degree Republican propaganda, but mostly Democrat Party machine propaganda any day of the week. Seriously, Russia, Russia again. And we sit here and we take it. We bend over and we continue to take it. You know, the people that are going in the streets, they're just disruptors. They're paid agitators. Or they had a really crappy upbringing without parents to say, knock it off. So they go out and they vent and they think it's funny and cool. Because, again, they're immature. They're psychologically damaged people that would do such a thing. And they know they can get away with it, too. You want some Nikes? Go grab them. And then you want to destroy property, including minority-owned businesses? Okay. I mean, that's where we're at now. And you've got these big city, neoliberal loser mayors that are virtue signaling just because they're there. They're better. They know how to run a city. Really? Again, the little blue blobs all over the map, like some sort of disease. These blue blobs are like little COVIDs, all right? But they're real. They're not fake. These are real viruses on the map. You see them. And I'm sorry, and if you're a progressive, if you're a real hardcore progressive that wants all these things, keep in mind, you're going to be an authoritarian. You're going to think to yourself, no, this is going to be different. I've given up. I've given up my progressive bent on a lot of things. I did vote for raising the minimum wage here in Florida because it's just stupid. And it's a gradual increase. All right. I voted to open up primaries and that didn't go through. Because I think if I'm I would rather be an independent. Don't make me register as a Republican or a Democrat. I am currently a Republican because I had to vote for Republicans and I had to vote at one time for Democrats. And I was even in the Green Party and the Libertarian Party down here briefly. It's at least you can switch parties easily. I don't know. So again, I guess you can vote responsibly if you plan. But now we can't because we have to wait for ballots to come in. All right, that's a freak show. Your election day is November 3rd. That's election day. By the end of the election, by 7 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Pacific time, maybe within an hour or two of that, you should kind of know who's won. If it's really close, it might go into the night for a few hours, might go to the wee hours of the morning, but I'm talking like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You should be calling it and it should be done. I'm angry because it's not even done yet. Think of it. We're finally over the political season. We can move on. But no, your holidays are going to be screwed up. Plus, you got COVID on top of it. They're telling you don't have holidays. Okay, great. So we've got nothing to look forward to. We have no Thanksgiving, no Christmas, and then we don't even know who the president of the United States is. Awesome. And you wonder why a lot of us clung to the notion of Tulsi Gabbard. Well, let me wrap this up at the end here by saying, libertarians, you want to build a movement? I'm not saying I could have voted for Joe Jorgensen. Trump was really winning big here. I could have just cast a vote for Joe. I didn't. I was too afraid. That's pretty, I know, it's pretty wussy of me, but it's what I did. But you think you guys are going to get anywhere near the presidency? If you've got an outsider who's running within the two parties and they're getting stopped, and I'm talking about both Trump and Tulsi Gabbard, both of them. Now, I know people hate it when I bring up similarities, but she came in, she said, I'm going to run as a Democrat. He came in, I'm going to run as a Republican. Well, he's not a real Republican because he doesn't believe in, endless wars and bailouts for Wall Street and, too big to fail. Too big to fail was a George W. Bush. I don't know, Obama or Bush said it. Although, no, Bush said that in order to save the free market, he had to destroy the free market. Oh my gosh. And Obama said, General Motors, they're too big to fail. Bail them out. See, when corporations begin to meld with government, because government says, you know what, you're like us. Let's, you make cars and stuff, and, you provide fleet vehicles for all these different things. Let's just kind of merge. And corporations say, okay. And do us a favor. Could you have everybody who works there vote for this particular candidate? Okay, so long as we continue to get bailed out because we don't have a good business plan. That's not the free market. That's not even crony capitalism. That's like bad socialism. That's an assist. That's a government assist. Somebody, think of it this way. I mean, people are on welfare, right? And they get on people for being on welfare for a long time. Well, they don't get on corporations for being on corporate welfare for a long time. And that's why there are a lot of people kind of down the food chain now who aren't socialists, who aren't Marxists, who aren't like greenies per se, but they go, hey, wait a minute. How come the General Motors people, I'm talking about the workers, but the people higher up, how come they're all set and we're not? And that's when people say, I want mine. Give me mine. And it sounds on its face selfish, and it's easy to argue from the right that person wants a handout and so forth. But if they stop giving corporations handouts, then maybe you can make that argument to the person that's been on welfare for a few years. Do you think the corporations will ever get off of welfare? No. In fact, it's becoming more and more. And this is what I mean. The corporations are controlling the country. Wall Street wants Biden. The war machine wants Biden. Biden is not a progressive person. He's not going to do anything. Kamala Harris, they're just blank slates. They're just going to go there and say, we're not Trump. We're going to do nice decorum. Biden shoots his mouth off constantly if he can figure out what he's going to say. So I don't see how he's going to be that much different from Trump. Dog-faced pony soldier? Hey there, fat. I mean, these are things that Biden has said out loud. And these are supposed to be the coherent things that Biden says out loud. Trump, I think Trump, I'm not supposed to say this, but I think Trump won this election, maybe by the narrowest of margins, but he won. And what's going to happen is it's going to get eroded day after day. It's what? Wednesday? Wait till Friday. And then it won't be decided by Friday, probably. I'm proud of my state of Florida. And again, I'm not a dyed-in-the-wool Republican, but the Republicans here in Florida get it. They care about the environment, for instance. DeSantis does. The people who run locally here, they're all like cleaning up the water and taking care of the beaches, maybe because they're in Florida and they're forced to look at those issues. But either way, they're doing it. They're not just talking about it, they're doing it. They're not for forever lockdowns, thank God for Governor DeSantis in that regard. That's a libertarian move, by the way, because you've got other governors like Abbott in Texas who they're just locking down, doing crazy stuff. And there are other Republican governors, I think DeWine in Ohio. They're all just, I don't know, they're not doing anything to help people get back to work. And to me, that's important. But again, this message is about everybody who puts their hope and trust in Tulsi Gabbard, right? Tulsi Gabbard, 2024. It would take, all right, let me put it this way. It would take a rebellion the size of either the Civil War or the Revolutionary War to get Tulsi Gabbard into the White House. Can we do it? Do we have that in us? This video game culture, this instant gratification culture, this sit on the couch culture, this stay in your house because of COVID culture. I don't know. I know you would think, well, we got 4 years to figure it out. No, and look, I don't know what she's going to do. I'm hoping she'll fight right to the last moment in Congress. I think they have another session pretty soon before it's all over. And then we'll see. But the fact that we don't know who the president of the United States is today because they stopped counting votes and they've got ballots that are going to show up days and days after, when there was so much time to early vote, so much time to mail in your ballot. That ballot should have been postmarked by, look, if you're going to vote on November 3rd, or if you want your vote to count for November 3rd, that puppy should have been postmarked a week prior to that. And if you're in the state, typically it would only take a day or two via our incredible post office to get it there, right? Should have been a week. Just get it in there and get it counted. And then none of this chaos. It's like, okay, we're not getting the result that we want, so we need to turn these wheels. And Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi and all these people about the election's over when we count every vote. Well, we used to count every vote on election day. We did. And we got a result, say with 99.5% of the results in. It's projected that, and they had a big lead, a few 100,000 votes or whatever it is. The sample size was proportionate to, what they were saying. So it wasn't outrageous to say that so-and-so won. You'd wake up and the margin would get even larger, or it would close a little bit, but that person would still be the winner. This is a giant 2020 psyop. It's a giant psyop. And people, what was the most searched thing on election night? Where to go buy liquor. Closest liquor store. So I'm sad for the country. We've been through a lot this year, and we're going to continue to go through more. And I don't know, people on New Year's Eve, you're going to have people getting drunk beyond, even if they tell you COVID, you can't do anything. I tell you what, I'm going to start to cheer on the drunks, because what else? I mean, you've got to have faith, maybe faith in God, faith in yourself. But at a certain point, it's like a rat being in a maze. You go down, there's a wall. You go down, there's a wall. You come back, there's a wall. You hit the wall, you hit the wall, you hit the wall. After a while, you're just sitting there going, okay, where's the beer? Where's the beer? Is there any beer in the maze? And yeah, they kept the liquor stores open. So if you could find a liquor store, you can, this is what they want. Self-medicating, sure. Getting, a diagnosis for cancer or heart disease, no, not so much, not right now. Just stay home. You'll be great. Just stay isolated, stay home. And they got all these people frightened and scared. And by the way, all that plays into the election. They scared all these people away from the polls. So some of them who probably weren't capable of filling out a ballot correctly did so. And by the way, if you fill out the ballot incorrectly, that ballot has every right to be disqualified. Or the state has every right to disqualify that ballot. I mean, if you can't color within the lines, guess what? It doesn't count. Sorry, I know it's a technicality, but this is really, I've voted in Florida a number of times now. It's easy to vote. It's easy to vote. I early voted, and I waited about maybe 5 or 6 minutes to vote. You vote, you get in, get out, give them the ballot. They tell you everything, every step of the way. There was somebody there. Okay, go over here, place your ballot in the machine. All right, hit a button and machine takes the ballot and there it goes. Done. And that was like a two or three sided ballot. I think there were two. Yeah, there were 2 pages. And I think there were maybe 3 or 4 sides. I can't remember, but there's a lot of stuff to vote for. And I managed to do that before election day. Ooh. Now, in your state, maybe it's stupid. Maybe elections should be nationalized and Ron DeSantis should be in charge of it. That's what I think. I'm not really a Democrat. I'm not really a Republican. I am registered as one right now. I probably empathize more with Republicans than Democrats because I don't understand Democrats. The last few years especially, things have changed where there's just too much corruption. I don't care what their ideology are. I don't care if they're not Trump. It doesn't appeal to me anymore. What appeals to me is American stuff. I grew up as an American. Have the American Party, for crying out loud. That's what you need. The American Party. I'm an American. How about we start an American Party? And by the way, the American Party would not discriminate. The American Party would let anybody in. The American Party is not Democrat or Republican. It's American. It's patriotic. It likes the country. Maybe not loves, but at least likes the country. It's okay with the flag. It's okay with hard work. It's okay, by the way, with charity and with maybe helping the least of these, especially if the country is prosperous. Let us reward those who don't have as much within the country. If that sounds like socialism, it's not. It's charity. Authoritarianism does not belong in the American Party. There are a lot of things that I could say about a party that embraced both left ideas and right ideas and welcoming people in and saying, we have more in common. Scrap what you know about the two-party system, throw it away. And by the way, why am I advocating for this when I just got through saying good luck? Well, it would have to be a revolutionary switch. And I don't know if people have the energy for it. You know, we're going through the stages of decline in the country. We got prosperous, we got fat, we got lazy. And now we're at a point where I don't know if we're willing to fight for it and to keep it. As was it Ben Franklin? What did you get? What did we get, sir? You got a republic if you can keep it. We have lost it. We have lost it. We have officially lost it. And this election it's been a coup attempt since Trump got elected. And again, this has less to do with Trump and more to do with the ruling class and how they want to control everything and how they don't want anybody from outside their little group of Wall Street military industrial complex rugrats. Those people are the only people that can be in this club. George Carlin, right? It's a big club and you ain't in it. It sure is. It's a big club, but I'm not in it. Most people I know aren't in it. If you like being a neoliberal, good for you. If you like endless war, if you like exploding deficits, if you like fake money, if you like being controlled by corporations and Wall Street, big pharma, if you like that, have at it. You walk around and you're going to see that influence no matter what you do now, if you really look for it. It's corruption. It's the corruption. It's worse than a banana republic. It's worse. In a banana republic, like I said, someone gets a nice little bribe, grease the wheels, and make it happen. This is systemic. This is like worse than bribery. It's worse than treason. It's worse than sedition. It's everything. And you can't use these terms anymore because they've lost their meaning, because everybody in the news media has been calling Trump and different unusual. I'm an unusual American. You know, you're a Tulsi Gabbard person, so you're kind of unusual. Why is that? Because I want politicians to get things done? Because I want people to get along with each other? Because I'm not into Keith Olbermann tribal warfare? This is going to go on for days, if not weeks. Much like COVID, it's just going to keep going. And it's weird how, isn't it weird how Dave, isn't it weird how they're both here at the same time? How one led to another, kind of? How the chaos at the beginning of 2020 has now morphed into something that we can't even comprehend. And your local news media, what does it do? It cheerleads. Cases, cases, cases. Oh, Donald Trump made a speech. Ooh, bad boy. Ooh, he's not supposed to do that. No, of course not. You're not supposed to come out on election night when you have more votes and declare you're a winner. I've seen politicians do that forever, even if they didn't win. I've seen them do it. Or at least say, gee, we don't know the results yet, but we think we've won. Whatever. Can't do that. It's a violation of the social media guidelines. You can't do that because it's a violation of the CDC guidelines. Screw them. Screw the guidelines. We are the guidelines. All right. I don't know what else to say. I am, again, I want this to happen, but guess what? If the system that we currently have in place remains in place, this can't happen. It will never happen. We need a revolution, a peaceful revolution, where people just reject it. No more Democrats, no more Republicans. How about Americans? How about Americans? How about the American Party? Not like that name probably hasn't been tried before, but what about the American Party? Seriously. Think about it.